What the fuck? Okay, so Resident Evil Requiem post talk. I just finished my playthrough on standard modern. Took me 10, almost 11 hours, and a little over a month and a half. Or no, it came out early this month, right?
Came out February 27th.
So it only took me about a month to finish, which is like 4 weeks slower than everyone else.
Yeah.
That's fine. Pretty good game. Like I said at the end episode of the LP, I think I would still... It's a good 8. It's a good 8 out of 10. It's a fantastic Resident Evil game. I think I appreciate and I can see where they're going with the future of Resident Evil. And I like that they're going down the route of the remakes, and they're not going down the route necessarily of where they were going with Village and 7.
One thing I immediately stood out to me once I was done with everything was because the 8 out of 10, like I was telling you about, 8 out of 10 kind of came to me after I played it another time and I was running through it.
Yeah.
The thing that I immediately was able to rank
before you ran through it a couple times, what was your gut feeling for the score? Was it higher than 8 out of 10 or lower?
It was higher. It was only when I had to go through it again that I remembered the story beats, the boss fights, and what was long in the tooth and what wasn't. When I ran through it again, that's when I refreshed it, because though I beat it a lot faster than you, it still was stretched out enough that I couldn't remember some of the beginning parts and stuff like that. One thing that I immediately knew off the rip, though, and I didn't need to play through it again, was just like, I still cannot remember the game that I played. But this game is a 7 out of 10 strictly on... I give it a 7 out of 10 for 2 games stapled together. It's 2 games stapled together. I've played so many games that were terrible at stapling 2 games together. Now, these were 2 different games stapled together, and they did it really well.
I'm happy that they had the 2 games stapled together because it worked, and I understand why. Because I heard it's like the first time you play through Resident Evil Requiem, you have the option of turning Grace's camera into third person. Don't do that. Play her sections as first person on your very first playthrough. And looking back, was like, I prefer Resident Evil in the third person. I bounced off of 7. I really bounced off 8. After playing through Requiem in first person mode, I think I would be a lot more open to going back through and actually finishing 7 and actually seeing what 8 has to offer. But I'm a lot more open. After what Requiem did, I am a lot more open to first person Resident Evil now.
Yeah, no, the gray sections are really good.
I thought, honestly, like the sections that got long in the tooth for me, I was expecting to see that in Grace's sections. I was surprised that there's one moment in Grace's section where it's like, this is starting to feel long in the tooth. Starting. And that's when you go down into the blood collector one after you find the helicopter. I'm like, okay, this is starting to get a little long, but I mean, then it ended right there. I was surprised, like, there were a couple sections with Leon that I was like, this is starting, like, getting all the detonator stuff. Like, this is a little bit, like, you could have trimmed this up a lot better.
Yeah.
The bit in the labs, like, okay, we didn't really need this. Like, I didn't expect to see, like, okay, we need to trim this up. But, like true Resident Evil fashion, you have your first area, You have your second area. The first area is fantastic. The second area was like, okay, it's pretty good. And then you have your lab, where it's like, just get through the lab as fast as possible.
Yeah,
the lab is nothing special.
The thing about the Leon sections was, for me, I did like them a lot, and I do agree with the fact that it did feel a little bit long. After playing through it multiple times, it's like I threw that opinion out the window, and I was like, it was long because I was walking or being cautious. Once you know what you're doing, you know how the game works, and you have some of the fancier weapons. When I had to go through the thing, I didn't rush it because I tried doing the speed demon thing. It didn't really work out for me because I wasn't fast enough. But when I was still trying to play through it, it was like I still know where to go, but I was just like, just smashing my way through it. I was like, this feels better when you're just going through these sections like a superhero instead of just like, oh, what's about to happen? Oh no, it's
Leon,
a chainsaw guy.
Leon
just
is
beat him up.
Leon's an amazing way to play opposite Grace's section, because Grace's section, dealing with a liquor as Grace, or dealing with a blister head as Grace, it's like, this is something that needs commitment. This is something that I am devoting a large section of my resources to deal with this because it is a problem. Versus Leon is like, tink, give me 7 of them, and it's still not going to slow me down.
Yeah, the fact that they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it in such polar opposites is why I'm just like, 2 games stapled together, they did this so fucking well.
Yeah.
It ain't perfect, but as you'll notice when you go through it again, if you decide to go through it again, it's like you have slow, cautious Grace section. Bam! Street fight with Leon.
Yeah.
Wake up in the care center. No gun. Girl is chasing you cautiously. Bam! Destroying the rehabilitation center on the first floor is Leon. Then the whole chronic care center, scared out of your mind, getting chopped in half by the butcher and all this other stuff. Wake up as Leon, and you can do whatever you want with whatever's left in the care center at that point as Leon. They did that whole beginning part, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
That they did it like that. And then it was like, but it was like by the time I was doing the whipping around the care center, and then you have the sniping section, and then you have the boss fight, I was like, stop teasing me. Where's the Leon section? And then when I got to the thing, it was like, got the tracking device, so you get money from stuff, buy guns, upgrade guns. I was like, thank God there's a Leon section.
If there is one thing, there's a lot to praise about this game. There's not so much that I would say is a detractor from the game.
It's okay to have a little bit of gripes.
The villains, I don't think, they don't rank really high on top of villains for me.
Yeah, I give Xeno like a 6.
Xeno is,
he was scary as shit, but he didn't do enough to be scarier.
He definitely made himself. They were definitely playing on the Wesker element. It's like, we're gonna style him like Wesker. We're gonna give him the same super flash step like Wesker had in Resident Evil 5. But Xeno is no Wesker. Xeno is far from being a Wesker.
As Victor said when you were doing, he's like, you're just an imitation.
You're just an imitation. But even
that's why I think Xeno's actually just a clone of Wesker.
Even Victor, I don't think,
I
Gideon.
think Victor was the better villain in this.
He was the better villain, but I still think he's like a lacking villain. He didn't strike me as a villain that was out there to do villainous shit.
Oh yeah, no.
He was
an antagonist. He wasn't a villain.
He was a better antagonist. But at the same point, it's like, I wish they leaned on Victor more towards the end, because we didn't see him at all. And when we were seeing him, it was just like, after a certain after Grace gets taken by Xeno, Victor at that point just becomes a comic book villain of the week. He's like, I'm gonna shoot on you with a rocket launcher while we're riding through Raccoon City on motorcycles. It's like, I wish they leaned on him more. And now knowing that he is a nemesis, it would be cool if he hunted at some point. I understand now, after seeing this, why he wouldn't hunt Grace. It makes a lot more sense. But I do see him as I need to stop Leon because Leon is getting in the way of my plans. I wish he would be a little more Mr. X-y with that.
The motorcycle section made a little more sense to me once they were like, oh, it's a nemesis. I'm like, I know you were trying to stop Leon, but you were going a little bit out of their way to try to stop Leon. But then seeing all that, I was like, it's because of the nemesis train. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody likes Victor. Zeno, they were just like, this has to be
Victor
something.
is super forgettable.
Zeno.
Yes, Zeno is super forgettable. Like that's
Zeno just feels like they're like, okay, so Resident Evil DLC, we're gonna see more. Resident Evil 10,
I honestly don't see how they would expand on Zeno's character to make him more interesting. Like, I think he is exceptionally one note and shallow as a bad guy. Like, he's not like the Wesker from even the Resident Evil movies. Like, that's how poor I view Zeno. I think the Wesker from the Resident Evil movies with Jovovich are so much more interesting. Because, like, oh, I am Umbrella. Like, Wesker was Umbrella after a certain point because he put himself there.
Yeah.
But, like, whereas the Wesker from the movies was like, no, I am Umbrella. Like, Zeno struck me as a guy, they were trying to make him seem like the Resident Evil movie Wesker, but he didn't have enough flair. He didn't have enough, like, flash to him.
It might just be because he didn't have because Wesker always pretty much had a personal grudge against anybody that came after him after Resident Evil 1. I think Zeno didn't have a personal grudge against anybody.
I think Zeno just didn't monologue enough.
Yeah.
Like, whenever we see Wesker from Resident Evil 5, he was monologuing like a motherfucker. Yeah. Like, he sees Chris and he's like, oh, Chris, I only have 7 minutes to deal with you. It's like, that's really cool. Then you're fighting. Like, Wesker's doing interesting things. He's thwarting you at every other turn. And you're dealing with that. Versus, like, Zeno is like, okay, we saw him blow away some BSAA agents with an overpowered handgun in one cutscene. All the other cutscenes, he's just being like the menacing guy, being like, I smoke cigarettes because I'm cool. It's like, okay. And he's just like, I would have wanted a better boss fight from him at some point. I understand why they didn't do that as for a story to show, like, hey, Elpis is to destroy, is literally Spencer going on and saying, like, I am redeeming myself, or I am doing my best to redeem the evils that I've put upon the world.
Yeah.
I just see Zeno as a poor imitation.
You know,
which he is.
I think which he is. The thing about Zeno, the last thing I'll say about Zeno is he was there to be the poor man's, but to be the Timu Wesker, and and because apparently the Connections organization was the guy who was the people that set up the chain of events that led to the Raccoon City thing, teed it up so Umbrella would take the fall and Spencer, so they could just steal Umbrella shit, so then they could start spreading it everywhere, blah blah blah. He had to be the Connections, like they had to do that connection, if you will.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be.
But that's all they needed to do, and they were like, that's all they needed to do, and this is one of those things where it's like, this is wrapping up what was already established in Resident Evil, while teasing. It's like, by the way, the Connections is still a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Whether Zeno is dead or not, you at least dealt with this massive facility that was making all the bioweapons that was being spread around in 5 and 6 and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you just like. With the spritz of nostalgia, with the police department and stuff like that, and Leon actually coping with his trauma. Because again, I didn't play through 6. Maybe he had a few more lines in 6 that said he was dealing with trauma. But it's like 2. I'm like, oh, this guy is suffering from trauma after this, right? And then I played 4, and I was like, no, he's just having a ball here.
From what I remember in 6, Leon is so much a cool guy. Like he took the rookie-esque out of 4, like the little bit that he was still a rookie from 4, he took that completely out and was like, no, I just shot the president and now we're gonna save the world. It's like, yeah, that's Leon.
Apparently there is one of the movies or short films or whatever that's still Resident Evil canon where Leon deals with Chris, that Leon actually shows how fucking upset he is about everything, is what people tell me.
I think it's like Death Island or Deception. I think I know which.
That's
I haven't
apparently
seen
the only thing.
All the CGI movies is still up in the air. It's like they're canon until it becomes inconvenient for Capcom's writers.
Yeah, pretty much. But that apparently is the only time that Leon actually looks like he's fucking suffering and having PTSD. So
Yeah.
but I like Leon in Requiem. He's a great 49-year-old protagonist.
Now having touched a better amount of Resident Evils, I think my top is still definitely Resident Evil 4
No,
OG.
hold on. No. We still got one more. We still got a couple more topics for Requiem.
Okay,
We'll
all right.
wrap it up on the. We'll wrap
The
it up
weapons,
on the thing.
I wish there were more weapons.
That was
wish-
another thing that I was like, 4 remake, 9.
I wanted another 1 to 2 more handguns.
Yep.
The SMGs are fine, especially seeing that there is the unlock with the CP points.
That is by far the best SMG.
I wish there was at least 1 more sniper.
Yep.
And I wish that there were at least 1 to 2, if not 3 more shotguns.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we don't have a barrel or a drum-fed shotgun is just missing.
Yeah, and there's no assault rifles. There's only rifles, which are just sniper
I'm
rifles.
fine without there being an assault rifle. I kind of didn't like it in Resident Evil 4 Remake how they gave us just a straight-up assault rifle. I felt that was unneeded in that game. But after, like, I would have loved there to be a super shotgun where it's like, hey, this is a double-barreled shotgun where it's like you're loading bore. And like, I would love that. It's like, here's a shotgun that uses Requiem ammo. And it's not long range. You don't have any range. You have to get them within close. But once you do, it vaporizes, and you just see legs and like the bottom part of their torso.
Or if they want to make it a little more gameplay convenient, it's like, oh, we don't want to make it so there's specific large shells because it would just be the shotgun version of the Requiem. We could just make it. We could just make it so it's like, okay, you load 2 shells in each barrel. That's how you make the actual shot happen.
No, that's what I'm saying. It uses Requiem ammo. It uses that 12.7 ammo.
That would be crazy, but it wouldn't explode. Their bodies would explode.
I mean, it's Resident Evil. You're using an alligator snapper versus the other pistols. Like one of those pistols is a 45, and another one of those pistols is a 9mm subsonic. the silenced one, you do not put regular ammunition through that. You have to use subsonic on that. Like that is a real pistol. You do not put overpressured ammo into that. You put subsonic ammo in that. Otherwise, you are ruining like a $1,600 or $1,800 gun.
Damn.
Yeah.
So then the other minor topic to talk about is now that it's over. You saw Leon.
All right, wait, on weapons. I wish there was an explosive weapon. Yeah.
No grenade launcher, none of that.
Or like a flamethrower, or a special weapon.
The best you got is Grace having Molotovs.
Yeah.
Now that we've seen the ending and it has been confirmed that he has a wedding ring, who do you think he's married to?
Ada.
So
it's got to be Ada. Like it's not Jill.
There is 4. Be so stupid.
It's not Claire.
There is 4 options that people are floating around. Are you ready for this?
Jill, Claire, Ada,
nope,
and Sheva. No, not Sheva. I meant Sherry. Not Hunnigan.
Anyway,
all right. I will say I wish they brought Hunnigan back for this compared to bringing Sherry into this. I wish it was Hunnigan and not Sherry.
Sherry has a connection to Raccoon City.
I know, but I think Hunnigan would have been the better cut for Leon. It's like, hey, Leon and Hunnigan have been through. I think there's a better history if you brought Hunnigan back, and like you could play that a lot more with how you want.
Would Hunnigan break the law like Sherry to go through the government's files? I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway. The 4 candidates are Claire.
Yeah.
Because on the Requiem and his watch, there is wing motifs, which was on Claire's jacket. She has a lot of wing motifs.
All right.
Claire's one of them. Sherry, because if you go in the concept art,
I hate that so much.
There's only a 9-year gap apparently.
That is a gap.
Shocked me.
That's a gap.
That shocked me. That I was like, why did she look like she was 8 in Resident Evil 2? And it's like, no, she was like.
What was she, like 11?
Leon was 21, so that means she was
10. No, 9. 11.
11.
No, or 12.
12. Yeah, that'll put her at.
That's a gap.
Anyway, Sherry, because if you look in the concept art,
I hope they didn't start seeing each other like that until he was like in his mid 40s.
If if you look at the
under
concept
10 years
art
married.
for Sherry, she does also have a wedding ring on, and apparently people are like, it looks kind of a little too similar to Leon's, and I was like, eh,
Wedding bands don't
Too-
look similar.
too boring.
Like men's wedding bands look drastically different than most women's wedding bands. You can get matching wedding bands, and I think that's a rather romantic thing to do, to have matching wedding bands. But a lot of the time, girls' wedding bands are going to be extravagant compared to men's.
Ashley, the Ashley one is funny. Hear me out.
Okay.
The Ashley one is funny because people were like, Leon is dripped out in so many expensive things, like a Porsche, that fucking watch, all of his outfits.
Senator's daughter, yeah.
I was like, it would be funny as shit if she was just spoiling him. That's why he has all that crap.
That would be good.
That would be really
That
fucking
would
funny.
be really good, actually.
And then the final one, obviously, is Ada for two reasons. When I finally got to the credits rolling, I was like, wait a minute. Where the fuck is Ada? It's like she always shows up, and Leon was fucking dying in this one. Why didn't she show up to help? And I was like, she didn't show up to help because they are married.
Yeah.
And she had it on lock, and she was like, can handle it, Leon. You got this. You got this, bud. I was like, that's the only reason I could think that she would just not show up for Leon's
You ain't gonna
thing.
sleep on the couch for the next month and a half. You got to handle this shit.
And then what was the
I
other?
honestly don't think that Leon and Ada make the best couple. I think it's a good will they, won't they? But I need to finish 6 and see, because apparently that does evolve that relationship a little bit more. Another one for the relationship would be the side character you have in Resident Evil 6. That is
My
your partner.
friend told me about that too. I was like,
I don't like that one either. I don't like that one either. I do like the Ashley. I think Claire is okay.
They had some good chemistry in 2.
Sherry's weird.
Sherry's
real weird.
What was the other thing that was like strictly for evidence for Ada? It's like Ada didn't show up because Ada had that on lock. Was the first evidence that people were having for it. The fudge was it? I can't remember. I'm about to. It'll just come to me later when we're playing another game. But there was another like major thing that I was just like, because it's all purely circumstantial, but it's still just like, no, they're not going to tell us. So.
No, of course not. No.
Unless we'll see. But those are the 4 candidates. I would only be upset if it was Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
If it was Claire, I'd be like, okay, they really liked each other in 2 because they went through an apocalyptic disaster with each other.
Yeah.
Ashley is funny as hell, if that's a thing, because I liked her in 4 remake a lot. 4, she was
a lot better in 4 remake than
4,
she
she was a brat because she was like freaking in high school or something, and in 4 remake,
No, she was in college. She was like a freshman in college.
No, in the 4 remake, they bumped her up to freshman in college.
No. In the original one, she was in for college.
Anyway, she was a little brat, but they redid everything for her, so she was just, young woman in college. Not even that much of an age gap between Leon and the 4 remake, which is great.
No.
So, but that whole thing about just spoiling it right was just so fucking funny to me. That I was like, I would be upset if it was Ashley. If I had to place a bet on anything, I'd like it to be Ada because they just have such great chemistry.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, no,
They have great
I could
chemistry.
see Ada.
They have great chemistry. And
I just don't like. I think Ada's the wrong choice in the long term.
So I agree that she is.
I just don't see Ada kind of like. I see that as the flirtatious will they, won't they, and the answer to that is they won't.
No, see, the thing about the Ada stuff is like, is she toxic? Like, yes, mostly in the 2 remake because they just met and she was trying to do her thing, but she did help him out.
4 remake, she's real toxic.
Everything in 4 remake, it was like she had a mission.
Yeah.
All she had to do was get that thing from Louise. That was it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but I haven't played the Ada DLC. I want to go back and play it now that I've done through this, and I'm kind of curious. But it was like she did way more crap than she needed to save Leon from dying in 4 remake. Mm-hmm. She didn't need to do any of that.
Yeah.
And that's the circumstantial evidence. If she didn't have to do any of that, but she did it anyway. She put her life on the line so he wouldn't die. Because he might be useful for my thing later. It's like, yeah, but like, Ada, strike me as a person you don't need him.
So I am a lot more interested in how they will redo 5, because they said like they've all but confirmed that Resident Evil 5 is going to be remade.
We'll eventually get one. Veronica is almost done, is what people are saying.
Code Veronica has been the rumor, but we honestly haven't heard what the next remake is going to be. But the ending of 4, where Ada straight up just says, like, I'm not giving this to Wesker, I think changes enough. And I'd be interested to see how they redo 5 to relate to this. Because 5 has to now connect to at least 7, 8, and Requiem. 5 has to set up for those 3 games. And I'm interested to see where they're going to go with this. It is definitely, hey, Umbrella is completely out. All the stuff with Umbrella is now wrapped up real nicely in a bow. Raccoon City is wrapped up nicely in a bow. I don't think we'll see Leon ever again as a playable protagonist. I could see Chris, but I could better see someone from the Wolves unit that Chris runs.
People are saying, because it's been a hot minute since she was in a game in a starring role, and it definitely, people are having Chris fever right now, that they're thinking, like, if they don't do it for a DLC thing, but if they do make a Resident Evil 10, it's like, how much of a nice little cheeky callback would it be if it was actually Jill and Chris as the protagonist in 10?
I could see Jill and Chris.
That way they just roll that back real quick, because they're like, Jill's been out of it for like since 5 or whatever. Everybody loves Chris now since 7 and 8.
I'm a lot more interested in Claire coming back.
That would be great.
Jill.
Claire's cool. Claire needs more games.
But I would really like a game with Jill.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it kind of did her dirty with Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yeah. So now you can do the rankings on the stuff. We're at the end.
Okay. Top game, I think, is still OG Resident Evil 4. Below that, I think I would honestly put Resident Evil 5 right behind it.
Resident Evil 5 by yourself or with a friend? Put the asterisk on there. Put the asterisk on there, Snarf.
Even Resident Evil 5 solo, I think I would put it above this.
Man, so much blazing.
Resident All 5 with a friend. All right, if you have the correct buddy to play through, yes. If you have the wrong buddy, if you're just playing with an online random, no. After Resident Evil 5, I would probably put 2 Remake. Then I would put Requiem. So Requiem isn't my top 3. Like, in terms of Resident Evil games, I think Requiem is just below my top 3. Yeah. And then it would probably go... Village, 7, 3 Remake, and 1. Because I've touched Code Veronica. We played through...
Didn't play through Revelations.
I need to play through Revelations, but I don't think Revelations are great.
Revelations are pretty good. I think they're 7s out of 10s.
I'm closer to...
Because a lot of the Resident Evil games rank, like, above 7.
I'd say they're, like, 6.7, 6.8s.
6.9.9999. I just don't want to give it a 7. I really don't want to give it a 7.
They're just not quite a 7 to me. And, like, honestly, there's a lot of Resident Evil games that are, like that 6 and 5. Like... I think Resident Evil is a fascinating series, but I don't think they necessarily always stick their landings. And I think that is to the detriment a lot of the times.
Okay.
But no, Requiem is definitely in the top 10. Easily in the top 10 of all releases.
Easily in the top 10, apparently comfortably in the top 5.
In 2026, I would say it is still one of my more... favorite games. There's a couple games coming out that I'm interested in seeing how they stack up, but I think Requiem is easily in a GOTY discussion.
It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how Resident Evil Requiem holds up once other things come out this year.
I would be surprised if Resident Evil Requiem is not at least in the runner-ups for Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say I would be able to lock it in Right now, I would say it's an easy lock, but it's also March. But I would say I would be exceptionally surprised if it wasn't in the discussion or in the nominations for Resident Evil for 2026 Game of the Year presented by Jeff Keighley. For my Game of the Year, it is easily in my discussion.
Yeah, it is
easily in the nominations.
Yeah, no. It's just going to be interesting to see because there's been a lot of rumors going around about what may or may not be happening. You know what the recent buzz is from around the grapevines?
Yeah. What?
Really funny. Really, really
Is
funny.
it Nintendo related?
Yes.
Then fuck it.
No. It's funny because the recent buzz that's going around is that they're actually making a full bottom-up remake of Ocarina of Time. I was like, how humorous.
Didn't that get announced?
No.
Like officially?
No, not yet.
Oh.
But a lot of everybody is reporting it now. And I was like, man, we just did that. That's so funny.
That's a discussion that we'll have outside of this trailer talk or post talk. No, Resident Evil 9 Requiem or just Resident Evil Requiem, whatever you want. If you want to number it or not.
The Q is the 9. You see? That's why it's
however
the 9.
you want to number it. I would say if you at least enjoy... I would say if you enjoyed Resident Evil 1, definitely worth your time. If you enjoyed Resident Evil 4, definitely worth your time. If you enjoyed 2 Remake, I can't speak to 2. I can't speak to original 3. If you enjoyed any of the remakes, definitely worth your time. And if you enjoyed any of the modern ones, worth your time. If you enjoyed Code Veronica and you only enjoyed Code Veronica, you're a freak. But it's probably not going to live up to that.
I heard, but one last tidbit to throw on the end of it, though, that they were making Requiem. The development process for this game was absolute hell because they had some completely different game before they finally decided on doing
Really?
this. Yeah, it was supposed to be like, live service, multiplaire, whatever Resident Evil thing. Before they chopped it all out of the way.
I'm so happy.
I only speak of it because there was I like Requiem, but there was other parts that I was like, I feel like they could have just did more. Why wasn't this?
I would love a good.
And it's like they didn't have enough time because they had to restart the whole thing.
I would love,
and I'm glad they got this much out from completely resetting the whole thing.
I'd really love a multiplayer, not necessarily a live service, not necessarily a gas game or games as a service game, but I would really love a good multiplayer Resident Evil like 5 or 6 where you bring in a co-op partner or you bring in like a group of 4 and you run through, or a group of 3, a trio or a quad, and you run through, even if it's scenarios. I think that would be better than when their attempts of being like, oh, we're gonna have like Resident Evil ReZero, where it was like, I think it was ReZero. But there were the 2 Resident Evil multiplayer games where it's like, it's just a free-for-all, and you're playing as the heroes of Resident Evil, and you're battling each other. Or it was the one where it's like, oh, you have the Game Master, and it's like the it's the bad Dead by Daylight Resident Evil. And it's like, I think that is the wrong way to go about Resident Evil multiplayer. I think the correct multiplayer is to be something more akin to a Left 4 Dead, but not Left 4 Dead where you're mowing down hundreds of zombies. Keep it Left 4 Dead in the, you have a group, 3 or 4 people going through this scenario or these sets of scenarios in Resident Evil, but it's still Resident Evil kind of zombies where it's like, hey, to take down one zombie is a feat.
Resident Evil Outbreak. My friend really loves Resident Evil Outbreak.
Yes,
because apparently it's a really good
Outbreak 2. Yeah, those
are apparently really good multiplayer Resident Evil games.
Yes, because you don't play any of the main line. You played as Alyssa Ashcroft was in, I think, the original one, but like you have like 3 to 6 survivors, and like you're all just running around being like, oh, I found a crank. Great, come meet me over here. I found where the crank goes, and it's just puzzle it out.
Yeah.
I think that's an okay. I think right now though, you would need a little bit more action to do this, but you need exceptionally limited resources for it to work.
Yep. But that's why Requiem. I'm just astonished after hearing about the development cycle for this game that I was like, damn. This game turned out really good from just they had to completely 180 everything. Like, that's just crazy. They made a great game.
As of March 28, 2026, this game needs a Mercenaries mode.
Everybody's like, that has to be the first thing they're going to put in.
I want a just Mercenaries mode. Play as Leon, get your things up. Play as Xeno.
Play as Hunk.
Get Hunk in there. Xeno. All right, the players that we need in there are going to be Xeno, Leon, Hunk, Gideon.
Maybe.
I don't think Gideon necessarily works, but Gideon would be funny. You need Chris,
Alyssa,
or I don't think Alyssa. Okay. I don't think any of the Ashcrofts.
Okay.
But I would say either Chris or a Wolves unit. But definitely Leon and Xeno need to be in there for those things.
Yeah, no, people are like, they announced that they're working on the DLC for Requiem, and everybody under the sun was just like, with how Leon plays, somebody's trying to wrap up development on the Mercenaries mode right now. Yeah. There's no fucking way there isn't.
Like, that's got to be something like, and if it wasn't, like, what were you thinking?
What were you thinking? You thought we were done enjoying that?
Like, with how much we enjoyed it in 4 and how much we enjoyed it in 5. Like, 5 Mercenaries is a treat. Like, 4 was really good for laying the groundwork. 5 and 4 remake, just like chef's kiss right there. It's so amazing.
All right.
Anyway, that's it. Great 8 out of 10 for me. 8 out of 10.
Cool.